And welcome back to another episode of Swiss Army Sports. We're your host, Will Spain, the transfer portal-esque long snapper from Troy, Austin P, and then kind of Houston. Sadly, we are without our all-pro Mr. Frat today, Michael Spain.
Oh, moment of silence. He was got by the test monster.
I know, because apparently school matters. And, I never really did that, but I guess that is why I'm not in it anymore. So it's kind of, I guess, pick your own poison. And then finally, Luke Wildman, D3, ex-D3 football player, absolute standout for 5 days. Electric stuff here.
And if you haven't noticed, we're gonna start doing random jerseys. I mean, mine's not as random because America's team, Dallas Cowboys, play tomorrow against some team in Philadelphia. Not familiar with their game, but we'll see. Luke is donning the Charles Woodson, Michigan jersey, as our local Tennessee, Michigan homer. So
there's lore behind it, right? There's lore.
We'll get into that. We'll get into that one day.
Yeah.
There is lore. Anyway, today's agenda, as we can go into it, we are Big Mike-less. That is top of the agenda. We already covered that. We're going to give you our college football week 2 top game picks, our full entire slate NFL week 1 predictions. We're going to give some NFL season award predictions, a little preseason action before we get into it tomorrow. We're going to give our best bets, 3 each for both college football and NFL. I know it's late in the season, but we haven't touched on the MLB yet. We're going to give some award predictions, for whenever the season ends. And I think we're going to talk a little wild card race, a little divisional race. And then finally, per usual, on Wednesday nights, we're going to give our who's hot and who's not of the week. So getting right into it, our top 6 games this week. We have, kicking it off, Ole Miss lost at home last year. Some could say because of a weak non-con. Heading to Kentucky. This is a completely different Kentucky team than last year. We go across the board Ole Miss here. How do you feel?
I mean, I think Ole Miss has a little bit of revenge on their mind.
100%.
I really do not see them dropping this game 2 years in a row. I mean, granted, completely different Ole Miss team, completely different Kentucky team. I just think this Kentucky team is way worse than the old, like, retrospect to the Ole Miss team being better or worse. Because the young quarterback, can't remember his name, he looks like Tua, the young Tua. I don't know his name.
Austin Simmons.
Yes.
Yeah.
He can sling it a little bit. Still, he's young, so he's making some mistakes, but I have faith in him.
I agree. So he definitely got off to a slow start. Georgia State. I mean, I get it. It's your first official start as QB1 of a now upper tier SEC program. Georgia State, not the strongest opponent, even for my high Sunbelt standards. Then again, they did have 63 on them. I do think they will try to do a similar thing this week against Kentucky. Lane, if he can run up the score, he will.
Yeah.
And Zach Calzada and that entire Kentucky offense was non-existent against Toledo. Now, don't get me wrong. Toledo is going to be the top of the MAC this year.
Yeah.
But this ain't the SEC in Toledo, Ohio. I think this is the beginning of the downfall for Stoops.
Yeah.
Kentucky faithful. I've been talking to a couple of people. They want him out. They want John Summerall in. I saw Summerall's name being floated around as a potential DeBoer replacement for Alabama.
Man, seriously.
So it would be interesting because he played at Kentucky, whether he would take the Bama job or the Kentucky job. I mean, you would assume Bama. But again, you played somewhere, you have a little bit of a tie. Yeah, I think Ole Miss blows him out of the water.
Yeah.
And I'm sure we could eat our words on this.
I know.
But
because we all thought it last year.
We did.
We saw
We
what
did.
happened at home on homecoming day for them, and they lost.
Yeah, outright, but I'm not covering. Moving on, another game we completely agree on, and again, Michael's not here, but he did provide a little bit of content for us this week. The line makes no sense in this Iowa State-Iowa game. Does Vegas know something that I don't know with only 3.5? Because I don't know about you, Luke. I think Iowa State wins this game by more than 3 touchdowns.
I don't think Iowa can score
I don't either.
because Iowa, like, obviously have not watched Iowa, but usually their strength's running the football.
100%.
Iowa State's front has looked extremely good in these first 2 games. Now, granted, Kansas State, we don't know what is going on, man, in Manhattan. And then they played South Dakota last week, I'm pretty sure.
Yep.
It's
South Dakota.
FCS. But so this will be, I think, a better test compared to Kansas State. I still think Iowa State shuts this team down because the quarterback play from Iowa, which I thought was going to be a lot better this year, looked awful.
Look, he hit the 6-7 celebration. It immediately cramped. He hit the 6-7, and he died.
Yeah.
Like last week, Iowa won against Albany.
Mhm.
Not exactly the strongest FCS opponent. 34-7. It was only 17-7 at the half.
Yeah.
Gronkowski. Hold on, I just saw the stat line for the first time.
Yeah. It's really bad.
8 for 15 for a gigantic total of 44 yards. Now, Xavier Williams, running back for Iowa, 11 carries, 122 yards.
If you look at their team rushing, they ran the crap out of the ball.
Yeah, so Iowa had 48 total passing yards against FCS team, 310 rushing yards.
Yeah.
That ain't going to work this week. Weirdly enough, because of certain reasons, we have watched both Iowa games in full.
Yeah.
Iowa State. Yeah, Iowa State. We've watched both Iowa State games in full. I mean, their run defense looks impeccable. Looks impeccable.
That's some big old boys up there.
Yeah. Look, trust me, when I went and played against Iowa, I was warming up, and their offensive line was like 10 yards away. And I looked up. I was like, holy crap. Like, I'm maybe 6 foot flat. I looked like a little kid looking up at his dad. Anyway, I do think, and I think you agree, this game ain't gonna be close. If it wasn't a rivalry game, like you take the names away and you statistically on paper put these two teams, facing across from each other, you think, Team A, Iowa State, wins this game by 28-35.
Yeah.
Yet the line's 3.5.
I know.
So,
and it's at Iowa State.
It is.
Which is a huge. If it was at Iowa, I can see the 3.5 maybe. Iowa State, you're at home, no shot.
Here's the thing: the cyclone horn, the little tornado siren, is gonna be blaring a lot.
Yeah.
And you're gonna hear hell's bells a lot because Iowa is gonna be punting darn near every drive. So, moving on to a game I think's enticing.
Yeah.
We both, I wish Michael was here to
Debate us.
debate us. We both went with the upset pick.
Yeah. I mean, I think Sawyer Robinson is the truth. I think SMU, no offense to SMU, I don't think they looked the greatest against whoever they played last week, who's FCS opponent. I think that was kind of a common theme throughout your middle-ranked teams. They did not look as good and as sharp as they should have. And Baylor, now granted, if SMU runs the ball, I don't think they'll run all over them like Auburn did because that is some SEC size versus some ACC size. I think Baylor will torch SMU in the pass game. I think Sawyer Robinson, early Heisman contender already, and I think he's going to have a big game this week.
Okay, so I completely agree. SMU won week 1 against East Texas A&M, formerly D2 Texas A&M Commerce, 42-13. They did only rush for 140 yards, with their lead rusher having 44 yards off 6 carries. That just means they didn't really emphasize running the ball, which against an FCS team, you don't really want to show everything you can do. So you would think, if you're going to run the ball, you're going to run it ball week 1 against, let me check again, East Texas A&M. I mean, total offense-wise, they only outgained them by 49 yards. They fumbled the ball twice.
Yeah.
I like Baylor.
Yeah.
Auburn has a prolific rushing game, apparently.
Yeah. Which, I mean, they've always usually had your marquee back in the country where they're going to run the football and their quarterback's just been awful. But, again, we saw that this weekend from Auburn.
And, You only gave up 108 passing yards to Jackson Arnold. You gave up 307 rushing yards. But you threw for 419 yards.
That's enticing.
That is so enticing to me because, I mean, we look back at it. SMU gave up 244 to a low-tier FCS team. I think Sawyer Robertson torches them through the air. Now, I do think, I don't think it's a blowout.
Yeah.
I think it's a very Big 12-esque, high-scoring game, even though SMU, the weirdest. Look, the West Coast ACC teams are weird. I think SMU is weirder.
Yeah.
Texas team not being in the SEC, American, or Big 12 makes no sense. But, again, I think Baylor probably wins by 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, I can see them. I'm going to kind of disagree with you on that because it is at SMU. Now, granted, SMU is not like the biggest home field advantage, but usually if you look at the statistics, your home teams fare better. Even if they're crappier, the games are going to be close against a superior opponent. I see them winning by a touchdown. I don't know if it's 2 touchdowns still. Hammer Baylor money line. There's no way they upset us twice in a row.
Facts. The one thing I will say, I do think there will be a solid Baylor conglomerate there.
Oh, wait, I forgot they're in Texas.
Yeah. So, an hour and 21 minutes is the drive.
Oh, that's not bad.
Not at all. And I think Baylor maybe cares a little bit more about their football program. So we're riding with Baylor. We went chalk next game. The only reason I threw it up here was to give the boys a chance to take USF because I was enticed.
Very enticing. I think USF is on the complete upward projection. I think they're gonna be a contender in the American. I didn't even think USF was a side note. I mean, I knew they had the head coach. I just didn't know what they had a quarterback or anything like that. Their quarterback's a freaking dog. Like, from what I saw in that Boise State, nobody goes out of their way to try and run over the safety to score. Like, that is dog mentality.
So I was a little familiar with Byron Brown's game. He is an elder quarterback in the American. Alex Golish has that program rolling. The only reason I don't think USF wins this game is because it's in the swamp.
Yeah.
17.5, way too much. Way too much. Now, granted, could Florida totally win by 3 touchdowns? Yeah, the moment may be too big for the Bulls. But I think it's a 1-score game at halftime, and we're kind of getting excited going into the second half. We'll have to see what DJ Legway does then. I mean, you can't really tell when you play LIU in week 1, but USF beat a pretty highly revered, and I still think they're a 10-2-3 team in Boise State. It wasn't even close.
Yeah.
Breaks. They beat the brakes off of them. You got to think the boys in Tampa, some of them probably dreamed of going to the UF.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to have a little bit of, swagger going into the swamp.
Yeah.
I could see it happening, but my gut says Florida, no matter what the margin is. I just can't pick against them because we are so big on Florida this year.
Yeah.
I would just say I would watch that game. I won't be able to. Little four-note. I will be, hopefully I'll get some content for the pod. I will be in Death Valley Junior this weekend in Clemson, South Carolina, where the mighty Trojans of Troy will take on 0-1 Clemson. 1-0 Troy, by the way. 0-1 Clemson.
Technically, you're better.
Technically, as of right now. Look, my little sister goes there. Pre-game, first couple drives, I'm going to be talking her ear off. I just hope I can continue it as long as possible. I hope the boys can keep us in it so I can keep having fun. But, God, it would be such a Troy thing to go to Clemson and win that game. Because if last time, you probably don't know this, Troy played Clemson. It was about 5 to 8 years ago. They got screwed by the refs on a goal line call that ended up giving Clemson a 7-point win. It was a very close game. And that was, I'm pretty sure that was Deshaun Watson Clemson team.
Really?
Yeah.
God.
So, look, not on the slate. Watch out for the mighty Troy Trojans this weekend. We finally disagree on the next two.
Yeah.
This is the game of the week for me by far, just because, obviously a little bit of bias. this makes or breaks Mississippi State's season in week 2. I don't think Arizona State is going to be able to handle the bells. We got this weak, little cowbell ring at practice. I liked what I saw from State. And again, like State faithful will say, oh, we looked okay. I had very low expectations going into week 1. I did not think they were going to cover against Southern Miss. However, defensive adjustments are needed, but the lack of showing from Arizona State against Northern Arizona has given me that kind of edge to say, I think home field advantage in the SEC at night. By the way, Mississippi State's going blackout. They are going all black uniforms for this game against Arizona State. I think Blake Shapen, former Big 12 guy, has played Arizona State before. Again, totally different Arizona State game. This game was close last year, if you don't remember.
Scatterboo
was the reason.
Yeah.
They don't got Scatterboo to save them this time. Give me the Dogs by 3.
All right. So my whole reason for picking Arizona State, they might not have Scatterboo, but they've got a receiver who's an absolute dog, and I think his name is Jordan Tyson. He went for, let me pull it up. I think he went for 100+ with a few touchdowns. Now, granted, Northern Arizona, but let me pull up this box score real quick. That is my reason. I think they're just going to torch them on defense. I think it's a high-scoring game because I think Arizona State's got no defense whatsoever. But please pull that up for me, Will.
Yeah.
But I just don't. I don't see there being very much defense played. Depending on what the number is, I would entertain the over, just because I think State's got a good offense with Levy. Yeah, what was the stat line?
Okay, so, yeah, guys, y'all got to hear this. 17 targets, 12 receptions, 141 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
That may be a problem for State secondary, I will say. I do think they're a little bit better than Northern Arizona in the secondary.
Yeah.
This game should be a shootout, in my opinion. I think,
I completely agree. But my only thing with him is number 4, number 5 prospect in the draft. They feed him. It is like Stafford to Puka Nacua. They feed him the ball. Burrow to Chase. It's like, fuck it. He's down there somewhere. And they throw goal line fades to him, and he just looks like a man amongst boys. And I was like, I obviously bet on Arizona State last week. I was very disappointed. So I was watching the game, and I think if Levitt stays clean because he made one just stupid throw last week. It's like, bro, in Arizona, play clean. If they play clean, I think they win this game. I do think it's close though. I mean, State can be a tough place to play at if you have people present. So.
Yeah, well, I think it's gonna be packed just because they won week 1.
Yeah.
If they would have even struggled against Southern Miss, it'd be a completely different story. They looked pretty dominant after the first quarter.
Yeah.
So
they shocked me.
Yeah, me too. Michigan heading to Norman, Oklahoma. The Sooners, Boomer Sooner wins this game by 14. You cannot convince me otherwise. John Mateer, early Heisman candidate for me. 30 for 37, 392 against Illinois State. 3 touchdowns. I don't care who you're playing. For 500 yards total offense, you've caught my attention. They have to go to Norman. Michigan did not impress me at all last week.
You're correct.
I mean, they had 452 total, but 201 of those were rushing yards. You're not going to be able to do that against SEC defense. Give me the Sooners, and I do think this is where we see Bryce Underwood kind of start to feel the pressure on the road. And the only reason I think it's 14, it's a 7-point game. Late in the game, he throws a pick.
Yeah.
And I think that's how Oklahoma gets it done.
Now, I can agree. The Bryce Underwood, he's going to play a huge factor. I thought he looked great last week. He looked confident.
He did.
it is better than any Michigan quarterback that I have seen. Well, obviously since JJ, but like he looked great. I do think they did one thing though. They hid because he's a mobile quarterback. They did not run him last week. I think he's going to get a little bit of running this week, and that is going to prove it's going to prove a little bit of a difference maker on the edge because he's fast. He's a big dude. Did you see that block he threw?
I did,
Like,
and I do love
I
effort
love that
plays
too.
by your quarterback.
Yeah, I love that so much. And also, Oklahoma, it worries me because it's the same thing as Texas last year. Oklahoma is going to try and go in there, speed the game up, tire out that line. Because I think front to front, I think Michigan's got one of the best fronts in the Big Ten, outside of probably Ohio State and maybe Penn State. But like they've got one of the better fronts, and I think they can contend with this SEC Oklahoma front. And I think if Michigan wants to make this dirty and punch you in the face, I think Michigan wins this game. But if it's fast speed, like Oklahoma will want to go, it's going to be tough. I really, from the bottom of my heart, want Michigan to win this game, but it'll be interesting.
That absolutely, I mean, by the book is the game of the week.
Yes.
I'm excited to watch someone at a bar, probably. It's gonna be, and I'm like big on Oklahoma this year.
I am too.
This was a tough game for me to pick, just because of that Michigan fight you were talking about. You will know who's gonna win this game after the first couple of drives. Whoever can dictate the tempo of this football game is going to win. However, as you're pulling up, Michigan linebacker Barham being suspended for the first half
is huge.
It's huge. Do you think Michigan and Bryce Underwood, just hypothetical, you've got your best linebacker out. Do you think if it's a double-digit deficit at halftime, you're able to come back?
See, I don't know because now double digits freshman quarterback on the road, I don't think we can. I think we have to keep it within 7, maybe 10. Maybe 10's like the limit I'd put it at. If it's 2 touchdowns, I'm like, all right, give me a beer. We're screwed. I'll just watch for entertainment. But
there you go.
I mean, Mateer's a great quarterback. He worries me. I hope Big Blue can pull it through. So
fair enough. If I was as big of a part as Big Blue Nation as you were, I'd have picked the same.
Yep.
But for me, it's the Sooners. Week 1, NFL. I was looking over this as I was doing it. We are in agreement for a lot of these games.
Yeah.
So, and I'll tell you which game it was. There was one game I was like, I've got to be different. We all, and this kind of makes us lose a little bit of credibility here. We all three think Dallas is going to march right into Lincoln Financial and get after that Eagle ass. And I agree. And this isn't even biased. This would be the absolute most Cowboy thing to do. We'll lose them at home.
Oh, we
100%. The lights, man, the shining light. But week 1, and I think with all this Micah Parsons stuff, the Cowboys really have something to prove. I think they're bought into Schottenheimer's message.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think the Eagles' defense is going to be able to stop our offense.
And the point on the Eagles' defense, yes, dominant last year. Darius Slay. They lost some key. I know they lost the defensive tackle. They lost one of their line. They've lost some key people on defense to where it's like, oh, because like last year we got outscored like, what is it, 14-80 or something? We had people hurt. And of course, we're all healthy. This is week 1 of the season. Dak Prescott is also 4-1, I think, is Jalen Hurts, 5-1. I mean, for some reason, and then he's 9-4, I think, against the Eagles all time. Dak beats the Eagles. Like, I mean, I'm just throwing it out there. Now, obviously, we're all picking the Cowboys because we're Cowboys fans. But, like, I do think people were like, oh, they're going to get beat by 40. I think this thing's going to be close. I do not see us losing by more than a touchdown.
Here's the thing. I had a buddy of mine who works in the Troy front office for football told me we were going to go 6-11 this year. The hate just because of the Parsons trade is it shows a lack of ball knowledge on all fronts. This Cowboys offense is going to be one of the most prolific offenses in the NFL. Granted, we may get 35 scored on us, but we're going to score 49.
Yeah.
And correct me if I'm wrong, and this is based strictly off memory. We don't really lose in week one very often.
No, I think you're kind of right because from memory, we always win the first two games. Oh my gosh, we are so, and then we get thumped.
And then we get thumped. All right. Well, just to move along through this, because it is a big slate. Y'all both had the Chiefs, which is the smart, reasonable pick.
Yeah.
I think they falter week one. And the only reason being, this is a tough traveling game to Sao Paulo, Brazil. I think this is a very, very hungry Chargers team.
Yeah.
I think Omari and Hampton is going to rush for 100 plus. I think Justin Herbert is going to. He's got the experience now. Now the offensive line can they protect?
No Slater. I think he got hurt before the season.
Yep.
So that'll be a kind of a question mark. But
can we control, alt, delete our way to a victory in Sao Paulo? I think so. I think it's one of the so this is actually the game that I was talking about. There's always a game in week one that a better team or a team that should have pretty easily won this game loses. And it makes everyone question and overreact. In my opinion, this is the game.
Yeah.
I think the Chargers, they were going to split with Kansas City this year, in my opinion. I think this is where the split happens.
Yeah. See, I have them actually going into Arrowhead later in the season and winning because I just remember when the Chargers were better with Phillip Rivers would go in there, freaking sling around the Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, and just somehow win games. And that is where I see that happening. So I have them losing week one just because, I think it's hard to bet against Mahomes. It really is. I think Mahomes, winning-wise, is the best quarterback in the NFL. So I'm going to roll with him. But
fair enough. Absolutely skimming through these next two games. The Saints suck. The Colts suck. Give me the Cardinals or the Dolphins.
The Colts are actually favored.
Yeah, which, by the way,
No sense.
blows my mind. Blows my mind. We all three had the Pats. I all think we're big on Vrabel being in New England. I think this is a revamped Patriots team. They kind of went through a little mini rebuild after Brady. This is going to be a team that contends for the playoffs this year, and I just don't think help. I wasn't really impressed with Genty in preseason. I think it takes him a couple of games.
Yeah.
No, don't get me wrong. I do think he is a potential offensive rookie of the year, but I think it takes him a couple games to get going. Going into Gillette, week one, vibes can be high in New England. You know how those New England fans get.
Yeah.
Give me the Pats. And obviously you agree.
Yeah.
But you're going to talk to me about this next one. Aaron Rodgers, in quotation marks with a question mark, revenge game, maybe? Me and Mikey both have the Jets. I am big on Justin Fields to the Garrett Wilson connection with Breece Hall in the backfield. Why did the Steelers win this game?
I just think, in my opinion, the Steelers' defense is going to be too much. I don't think the Jets' offense is good enough to overcome that Steelers' defense. I don't really think the Steelers' offense is very good, but I think it's good enough to play against this Jets' defense. If this was a Saleh defense, I'd probably be picking the Jets here.
Fair enough.
This is first year was Lions defense coordinator, Aaron Glenn?
Aaron Glenn.
Yeah. So I just think, Rodgers is going to come in with a little bit of revenge. They have DK, you have Muth, they have a solid running back room. I just think, and they have Boswell, and I think Boswell freaking makes like six. He's gonna hit some kicks, and I just think it's gonna be just enough to win. I don't think there's a whole lot of scoring.
One of just those gritty AFC
Yeah.
games.
Yeah, no, that's
Fair
my
enough.
whole thought process behind it because I just think Mike Tomlin is the king of all that crap.
Fair enough. Again, another chalk one here. I don't even think we have to explain this. The Commanders are probably going to blow up the Giants. The Giants defense is getting there. It's not there yet. Offense could score.
Yeah, Russell Wilson. I like Russell Wilson.
I
I think he's a solid quarterback in that system too with Dable. I think Dable's a great offensive head coach. So
Here's the thing. I'd rather have Jameis Winston.
I kind of agree there. I love me some Jameis.
It's something about him, man.
Me a W, baby.
Eating that W. I think we all agree that the Jaguars are going to have a pretty tough season. And y'all were bigger on the Panthers than I was. I do think they go in here and get the win week 1. I think Bryce Young establishes this connection to, we'll preview it later.
Yeah.
But Ted McMillan, I'm big on him. I think they get it done. And then this next one was a no-brainer. The Bengals want to blow out the Browns. Now, Joe Flacco, Joe Nasty,
He's an AFC North demon.
he is an AFC North demon.
Now I want to step back to this Panthers game real quick.
Go ahead.
Sure, the Jaguars are favored as well, which I think is just because of the home team.
Yeah.
So I honestly think that's a crime. I think the Panthers go in there and win, just like you said. But
And the line in this Bengals game is only like 5.5, which
Yeah.
also blew my mind.
oh, I know. I mean, I guess they're just saying that Bengal offensive line can't contain that Brown front, which the Brown front, don't get me wrong. I mean, they have a good defensive front and they have a solid defense. I just think Bengals offense is just it's too much.
Too much. I agree. Y'all both had the Bucks, who I do think is the best team in the AFC, or no, corrections. Sorry, guys. NFC South. I thought they were going to split with the Falcons. Give me the Falcons at home. Michael Penix, I think, is going to have a much better year this year. Drake London, I think, shows in this game. The Buccaneers are kind of limping into week 1 of the season,
Yeah.
oddly enough.
I know.
I do think this Bucks team, when they get healthy, is going to be a very good team.
Yeah.
Big believer, Baker Mayfield. Bijan Robinson easily carries for over 100 yards in this game. I think the Falcons get it done in a very Falcon way, where they are winning, almost blow it, but then
Come
my
back.
boy
Coup.
Koo is going to drill a game winner late in the game.
I honestly think with this game, I think Emeka Ibuka goes out here. You know, those just not like your Gentry or Cam, like your highly touted rookies.
Yep.
Like someone picked in the late first round, early second, goes out here and just blows up. I think he's that guy. I think Ibuka this game is going to absolutely explode because they've got AJ Terrell. They've got some solid corners, and you're going to have the number 3 on him. I think he's going to explode, especially in this air raid type of offense the Bucs are in.
Fair enough. We have the Niners going on the road against a, in our opinion at least, very bad Seahawks team. Pretty chalk there.
Yeah.
Now, you know how I feel about Denver. Y'all don't understand how close I was to putting my little face next to that Titans logo. This was a very interesting game to me because I could absolutely see Cam Ward hopping off week 1
Yeah.
against the Broncos. I do think it's just this early in the season, the Broncos secondary is just be a little bit too much
Yeah.
for him to handle. And I think Bo Nix does enough against a weaker Titans defense.
And another thing I kind of want to add, I think that Bronco front eats against the Titans offensive line. I mean, the offensive line, I don't think they're crapper, but the Broncos front, I think, is top 10 in the NFL.
Just in case, you know who they're not going to eat against? J.C. Latham. He's
Dog.
he's a dog. All right. Hopefully, future guests on this podcast. Yeah, but at the end, give me Broncos, Mile High, week one opener. We all have Detroit going into Lambeau, and I feel like this was kind of like
a Packer thing to do.
Yeah.
To win week 1 against Detroit. The Packers are favored, I think, by like 2.5, which, I mean, Lambeau Field. But this isn't Lambeau Field in the winter. This is Lambeau Field in the summer, fall. So,
and here's the thing. If you remember correctly, the Packers did not look good early in the season last year.
No. It took them a minute.
I think Detroit is going to be too much for this Packers team to handle in week 1. It's such a veteran now, well-rounded Lions team that obviously we all love.
Yeah.
Hell, you and Michael had them as your Super Bowl pick.
Yeah.
If I was thinking any sort of logically, I probably would have too. But I do think they get it done. The Rams defensive line is about to have a sack party against the Texans.
It is going to literally be rape on CJ Stroud. I mean, I feel bad. It's going to be like putting a high school team up against a middle school team. It's going to be that bad.
This is the first time, like, even there's a couple of games that stood out to me. This is the first one of those games where I'll be surprised if CJ Stroud finishes the game.
Yeah. No. 100%.
This is Sunday Night Football, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So.
This is exactly what you want from your week 1 Sunday Night Football game.
Yeah.
The Ravens, again, I almost picked them.
I did too. This is a tough game.
This is a toss-up. The only edge I had Buffalo having was being at home. I do think the Ravens have better weapons on offense. I do think that Buffalo defense is going to be able to contain Lamar just a little bit, not too much. It's going to be a close game. Josh Allen, I just don't think he loses week 1.
Yeah.
It's
at home.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of my thought process because the Ravens in their first few weeks, I think they play the Eagles and the Chiefs all
tough schedule. Yeah.
They have a very tough schedule to open the season. And I think because you're going to see them lose 3 or 4 games right out the gate, everyone's going to overreact. I think they're going to be fine. But, like, I just don't see Buffalo, Bills Mafia dropping the game for the Ravens here.
Yeah, me neither. And then heading on to dun 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 Monday Night Football. I wish our colleague was on here. I have a couple of choice words. Michael, you're going to listen to this. In the hell do you think the Minnesota Vikings, Justin Jefferson, TJ Hawkinson, Aaron Jones, Jordan Mason, JJ McCarthy, the best secondary in the NFL, one of the best defenses overall, Kevin O'Connell, getting a phone call during the pod. Anyway, you are trying to tell me that Ben Johnson leads the Mighty Bears of Chicago to a 1-0 record against the second best team in the NFC North. In my mind, and I think even in your mind, playoff contenders, if not, I mean, you start to see J.J. McCarthy get in form. Look, here's the thing. He's the biggest question mark. If J.J. McCarthy performs at the level he did early in his Michigan career and how he did at IMG Academy, the Vikings automatically become Super Bowl contenders.
Yeah.
Automatically.
No.
So, I mean, this is a team that was favored in a playoff game with Sam Darnold as their quarterback. You're telling me that a national champion quarterback is going to lose week 1 at the Bears? Absolutely not.
And I kind of want to add to J.J. McCarthy's winning ways. If you look at every level he's been at,
He won.
dude wins. I mean, I also think he's in the exact same situation he was in Michigan. He's got so many weapons around him. You don't have to ask him to go out there, freaking throw 400 yards and like make all these crazy throws. He's got to make the right reads and hand the ball off. I think the Vikings, I think JJ is a solid quarterback. I think he can read defenses. I mean, I think he's going to be very well in that Kevin O'Connell system. And I don't see how the Bears beat them.
Kevin O'Connell is a known quarterback whisperer.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, he's not here to defend himself. When I looked at this and I went, oh, of course. I mean, I think, honestly, he may just be so mad for whatever reason at me hating on the Broncos this year because he's so he may be trolling me because at the end of the day, when the Cowboys, bring me into sorrow, I use the Vikings to raise my hopes. And I think he wants to take that away from me because obviously, I mean, we don't lose to the Bears. Come on. Come on. Moving on. About our preseason award predictions, I'm going to run through Michael's while he's not here. Well, I guess we'll go category by category. Michael had Joe Burrow as MVP. I wholeheartedly disagree. And that's simply because I don't think they're going to win enough games for him to be in that conversation. Look, do I think he may actually be the most valuable player in the NFL? Absolutely. I know how these voters vote. They take not only how you play, but your record and how you finish the season, blah, blah, blah. Lamar Jackson should have had it last year. They give him his get back. Lamar Jackson will be the MVP of the NFL.
And if we're being real, Dak should have had it 2 years ago.
100%.
1,000% it should have been Dak. But because of how the voters have voted in recent years, that is why I think Patrick might sneak up and grab one.
Makes sense.
Because they're going to win. And he's going to have good stats. I don't know. He's not going to have like your outworldly numbers like Burrow. He's going to have good enough stats to where he's going to be able to, the Chiefs are going to be there. I think he's a very good contender for the MVP.
I would not disagree with that. Offensive Player of the Year, Michael has Jamar Chase. Again, I guess he thinks the Bengals are going to be insane. I've got CD, and here's the reason why. The chemistry between CD and George Pickens right now is at an all-time high.
Mm-hmm.
George Pickens, and don't get me wrong, the first 3 weeks of the season, you're going to be like, oh, CD is not going to be OPOY. They're going to have to start paying attention to George Pickens to where they can't just, cover two shell and double CD Lamb every drive. He should beast in the end zone this year. I think CD Lamb will be the offensive player of the year. And I was kind of looking at the odds. His odds are, I think he's like top 3 in that category. So,
see, I was right there on the fence, but I knew. I had a feeling you were going to pick CD to beat off, and I was like, I can't. So I went with my fantasy first round draft pick, Jahmyr Gibbs.
solid choice.
If the Lions are going to go deep, you've got to have a dude. And Jahmyr Gibbs is that guy. And I think he's going to have a breakout year, receiving, rushing, and all the touchdowns. So I think that is a great pick for offensive player.
The only thing you can take away from Jahmyr Gibbs is David Montgomery.
I know.
And this is purely statistical in that regard. Jahmyr Gibbs is obviously RB1, but Montgomery gets those red zone touches, those goal to go touches, and that may hurt, gives a chance of being OPOY. But I wholeheartedly agree. Jahmyr Gibbs can absolutely be the best offensive player in the NFL this year. Michael and I agree. Aiden Hutchinson is going to anchor this Lions defense, and he is going to be feast, not famine, on NFL offensive lines and poor NFL quarterbacks all year. Aiden Hutchinson, rightfully so, should be the front runner and my pick for Defensive Player of the Year. Talk to me about Trey Hendrickson.
See, I was this close to going with Hutchinson, but I was like, Trey Henderson has something to prove.
He does.
He is going to go lead the NFL in sacks this year, give the double bird to the Bengals, and go sign somewhere for a lot of money. Because it is a contract year.
It's a contract year.
So, and NFL guys, what do? They overperform in their contract years. And I think this is a classic chance of him overperforming, and he's going to look great, and he's just going to be dominant like he has been for the last 2 years.
Yeah, he's going to get a Micah Parsons level bag if he does.
He might reset the market.
He may. Offensive Rookie of the Year, me and Michael agree. Ted McMillan. Oh, we're so big. He is everything I would want to see Bryce Young have a receiver. Again, I don't think the Panthers fare too well this season just because of their youth and essentially just their defense. Ted McMillan, though, is going to put up some numbers for the Panthers. I think he scores a touchdown week 1, and he introduces himself to the NFL. You have my second choice, and who I almost flirted with. The way he carries himself, I'm so big on. You have to have professionalism in the NFL, but I wanted to hear your reason why is Cam Ward the Offensive Rookie of the Year.
Like you said, dude, first guy in, last guy. I love that about him. He already seems like a leader. You have him picking fights with defensive linemen in practice. I mean, you just don't see that from a quarterback.
No, you don't.
So, I mean, that I love him in that aspect. Another thing, Offensive Rookie of the Year. It is mainly a quarterback award.
It is.
That is why I'm going with Cam Ward. I think it's just like you're going to tech McMillan. I think he's going to have a great season. Cam Ward's going to have a solid season, and he's a starting quarterback. And I think that's where the voters give him his edge.
DROY, Defensive Rookie of the Year. Michael had Jalen Walker, solid pick. Georgia product, staying at home in Atlanta. He should have a good year. I don't think he will have near the year as Micah Parsons Jr., Penn State product, Abdul Carter. He's going to stand out because you don't have many bright spots on this Giants defense to where I think the voters are going to see such a discrepancy in his teammates and him that Abdul Carter is going to put up monster numbers for a bad team. And that's going to get him a nod for Defensive Rookie of the Year. Talk to me about Mason Graham.
So, again, I kind of went with the logic of quarterback, Offensive Rookie of the Year, defensive lineman. And I knew somebody was going to pick Carter, so I was like, I'll give another defensive lineman. Mason Graham. I've seen some videos. Obviously, does not look like an intimidating player. Dude's great with his hands. He gets off blocks. He defeats double teams. He's a great interior pass rusher at the defensive tackle position, which you do not see a whole bunch of in the NFL. So I think that's going to help him a lot. And he's already being like Abdul Carter. He's going to be thrusted into that. You're going to have to play every snap. You're our dude. Go get us, make a play. And I think you're going to have people paying attention to Myles Garrett. That's just going to drag that focus off of him. And I think he has a solid year. And also, Defensive Rookie of the Years, defensive linemen are predominantly the winners of this award.
Fair enough. Coach of the Year. Y'all both agree on Dan Campbell? I mean, y'all both think he's going to win the Super Bowl, so fair enough. Had him going 9-8, and the more I look at it, the more like 10-7. Mm-hmm. Mike Vrabel, if he takes his Patriots team to the playoffs, wholeheartedly in my mind, deserves to be Coach of the Year.
Completely
for turning this team around and just getting him to buy in one message, which they've had leadership problems in New England for the past couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
If Vrabel takes to the playoffs, I think he's the clear front runner. Again, I don't think we have to spend too much time on this because Dan Campbell makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, he is a player's coach, and I love Dan Campbell. Love the message he gives. But I think Mike Vrabel is basically another Dan Campbell, and I think they do like, giving refreshing names in the rewards. Vrabel is my pick.
He would be my number 2 guy.
Fair enough. Dan Campbell was my number 2.
Yeah. And one thing I do love about both these coaches, I'm pretty sure Vrabel doesn't. I don't think Vrabel calls a defense, does he?
I don't think so.
Like, I think coaches, you coach.
Yep.
You don't call something. That like, because granted, you could be a great offensive coordinator, but when you're the head coach, you have to coach.
Yeah.
Be calling offensive plays, and then also you don't do anything with the defense.
You have to delegate.
Yes, I know. Like, and that's where I think head coaches should do. Don't call plays. You delegate. So that is why I love Dan Campbell and Mike Vrabel, for that matter.
Fair enough. Michael had my number 2 here for comeback player of the year. If he stays healthy, CMC is very liable to have that reward because of how weak the Niners schedule is as well. I have him on my fantasy team. 7th pick, by the way, guys. CMC may return to the CMC of old, but we're big on our boy. Also, the every other year rule.
Yeah, he's thrown for 30 touchdowns this year, 30 plus.
He's been banged up. I think he stays healthy, and Dak Prescott is going to lead this Cowboys offense. They are going to be the Cincinnati Bengals with a little bit of a better defense.
Yes.
And I think Dak has a monster year. Monster year.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I completely agree. Just from the fact that if you look at his weapons, running backs, they're okay. They're no like dumpster fire, but they're okay. You have 2 wide receiver ones, and you have a very good tight end in Ferguson. I just don't see a way where he does not succeed with all the weapons around him. And I think he's one of the favorites for comeback player of the year because he missed most of last year, and they changed some of the rules to where you have to miss significant time. It can't just be like a Joe Flacco situation where you're just old, or a Darnold, like where you just don't play, or the Damar Hamlin where you die. So
wow.
You have to like get actually. Well, I guess Damar Hamlin would count, but you have to actually get hurt and then have a great season after.
Yeah, I think that does count.
Well, I was meaning in the fact that they tried to give it to him after he played like 5 special team snaps. So that was more.
Yeah,
that was more my.
All right. College football best bets this weekend. We kind of covered. We've covered 2 of these games. So I'll just get that out of the way. We both, and I saw you had this, so I stayed away from it.
Yeah.
We both like Iowa State minus 3.5 against Iowa, and I feel like we both like Ole Miss minus 10.5 against Kentucky. I want to talk about this BYU Stanford game. Stanford look atrocious on the road at Hawaii. They have to go on the road to a way more hostile environment in BYU.
The Mormons, man.
The fighting Mormons may hang 50 plus on Stanford, and I do not know if Stanford should be able to move the ball at all. 18.5 I thought was very, very generous to give BYU. I think this is a 28 plus game. I didn't understand the line. Again, Vegas knows, but
no, seriously,
I love BYU in this spot. You were talking to me about it earlier. Tell me about Maryland.
So Maryland, I didn't have my stuff pulled up, but they've got a freshman quarterback who is an absolute. And I think out of all the freshmen, he produced the most out of all of them. Sorry, I'm not prepared.
It's all good, dude.
Hold on.
And then,
you want to take over for a second?
Yeah. So piggybacking on what you were saying earlier, just to help you out here, fill some space. NIU looked bad week 1 against Holy Cross. Again, Holy Cross upper tier FCS team. That doesn't matter. You're still playing a division up. 16-14 is nothing to write home about against an FCS team.
Yeah.
And Maryland did look good week 1. So tell me about the quarterback.
So your true freshman quarterback, I think he was the 5th I think, quarterback in the class, threw for 258 and 3 touchdowns in his first start. Granted, it was against
MSF. I thought they had FAU.
FAU,
Yeah.
not FC,
Though.
but it's FBS. So I just think he has another monster game, solidifies himself against a very bad Northern Illinois. And I just think that line is way too low, in my opinion.
I hear you. Speaking of terrible teams, let me talk about UAB. Now, I will say their rushing game is pretty solid. I played with Javon Jackson at Austin Peay, and they ran all over. Now, okay, granted, Alabama State. That's why you take that with a grain of salt. Their quarterback play, I can't even remember his name, and he looks like a child out there. He is atrocious. And not to mention, game management was horrible. They looked like a high school football team out there. And man, did Navy look good. Again, granted, FCS team, BMI. Navy's going to stop the run. This game could probably, just by the way I think the score's going to go, bring back the Navy hype of last year. I think this could be like a game that you see is like 52-14.
Yeah.
Like, I think this gets ugly for UAB. And I think we see Trent Dilfer fired by week 5.
And the triple option, notoriously hard to stop because you can do so much out of it. Like, I recommend go watch Saban break down the triple option. It is a thing of beauty. He talks about all the things you can go out of it because they run the triple option now. They don't just do the double wing. They run it out of the gun. They run spread now at Navy, like, because the quarterback can kind of throw, which you don't usually see. And that's what makes this Navy team so good.
Yep.
So
when you have a quarterback that can throw out of the triple option, it's so hard to stop. It's and what's crazy is these service academies run this option offense year in, year out, and defense coordinators still can't figure it out. Yeah, Blake Horvath is the truth at Navy, and I think Navy kind of starts getting in that G5 conversation after this week. Again, weak opponent. The American is starting to redeem themselves for the absolute bottom feeder G5 conference they've been. Granted, I love my Sun Belt, and I will always say the Sun Belt, I think top to bottom, is the best G5 conference in the country because you do have teams like Temple, Tulsa, Charlotte, UAB.
Yeah.
But darn, Navy looks so good, and 21.5, which is way too little for me to stay away from it. Your game that you have at the bottom here, I also loved. They lost so much. I think the line is small because it's on the road. Tulane looked great.
And Tulane, like, it's not like Tulane's going like across the country. No. I don't think it's a very far distance from South Alabama to Tulane. So it's a road game, but you're not having to go you're not going up the Northwest. It's not like Northwestern going out of the Tulane where you're having to go 8 hours.
100%.
So, I mean, I think Tulane goes in there just like they took care of business with Northwestern. They go in there. They handle business. They got a quarterback, the Jew. I mean, I love the Jew. So we can't call him the BY Jew.
It's Tulane. It's Tulane.
Tulane. I love Tulane. I think they get it done. I mean, Tulane's like looking like a group of 5 standout.
Yeah, the fact that the school was endorsing T-shirts that say Tulane.
That's awesome. I might have to cop.
Look, this is a very clean podcast. I don't even know how to feel about it. But if you want us to call you that, well,
call it.
Yeah. Look, he loves it, which is cool. Like, he embraces it. He loves it. So, NFL best bets. I had to agree. I mean, it was the easiest line to pick. I like the Bengals. You like the Bengals. We already talked about why we like the Bengals. We both have some anytime TD scores. I wholeheartedly agree with yours that we've already discussed. I mean, Jay Jett is going to get his.
Find him somewhere. You have no Addison this week. I mean,
you're going to have to find him.
Yes, you're going to have to find, especially in the red zone. That is your reliable target. I think outside of maybe a Hawkinson, like tight end, I think Jefferson, he might even just burn somebody and get
100%
over the post. So I think that is a lock of the week for touchdown this week.
Yeah, at a plus value too. CeeDee Lamb is going to score this week. I mean, he has been out on a mission this year. Give me CD. I also love the Patriots -3 against the Raiders. Tell me about your little passing prop here. I mean, it makes sense.
Burrow averaged like 290 something last year for pass.
But yeah,
And
against the Browns, come on.
I know, and like, dude, they're slinging that rock because, like, yes, they have Chase Brown as a solid running back, but Chase Brown, he's so high in these fantasy drafts because it's the dump off, repeated dump off. Joe Burrow's going to throw this thing 50 times. If he don't get 260, I'd be freaking disappointed in Burrow. Like,
Yeah,
he's got to throw for a lot.
If he's not over 280, I'll be honestly
280,
shocked.
sorry.
Yeah, no, I'll be shocked. Anyway, a little MLB talk. So we are kind of late in a lot of these races, we're gonna skip through AL Rookie of the Year. Nick Kurtz is gonna win.
Yes.
Tariq Skubal is gonna win the Cy Young for the AL. And
I do want to talk about the AL Cy Young a little bit.
Okay. What about the NL?
Yeah, Skeens. With Wheeler going down,
So
it really killed.
He was minus like 2,000.
Yeah.
Paul Skeens is gonna win. Michael had Cal Riley being a little different here in the AL MVP race, but I already typed up these stats.
Oh, the only thing that hurts Riley is his average.
100%. So, again, we're kind of backtracking here and skipping around. So hopefully you're listening to this on Spotify. Aaron Judge, 3.25 average, 43 dingers, 97 ribbies. That is MVP status. And obviously you agree. I mean, to think, like, someone asked me, oh, do you think Aaron Judge is going to hit a home run tonight? I was like, yeah, probably. I mean, it's probably just going to happen.
Yeah.
I am interested, though, because I think... No, we're good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
Hey, guys, this is episode 3. We're working through some kinks. I think Shohei Ohtani is not necessarily the most deserving player of this award, with a 1-1 record, 4.18 ERA, 44 strikeouts, and just honestly, in my opinion, it's an average 279 hitting wise with 46 home runs, which is impressive. Don't get me wrong, and 87 ribbies. Do I think Ohtani's gonna win? Yes. Who do I think deserves it?
I think
100%.
He's batting now. He's batting 240. It's kind of like the Raleigh thing again. He's batting 245, but he's got 49 bombs and 119 RBIs. That is absurd. And also, he's on a really good Phillies team. I think maybe a little voter fatigue kicks in. It's kind of like your Jokic MVP, your Lamar MVP. I think maybe a little voter fatigue kicks in, and Schwarbo gets his MVP this.
I would love to see it. And if you're listening, I'm sure you could get some great odds on a Schwarber and MVP.
It's like plus, I think, 400 or 500.
You can get some great odds on that.
He just hit 4 bombs the other in one game.
Golden sombrero. NL Rookie of the Year. Michael had Baldwin. Me and you had Cade Horton, who has been pitching lights out for the Cubs.
2.92 ERA,
9-4 win-loss record, and 81 strikeouts as a rookie pitcher. I mean, I think he should get the nod.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Especially on a very good Cubs team.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, Baldwin's been great this year, but I just think that because of the record, and he's a starter he's in the rotation on a very good Cubs team. I mean, he's going to be pitching in the playoffs, no doubt.
So the last one to talk about is the AL Cy Young. You wanted to talk about Tarek Skubal, who is on my fantasy baseball team, by the way.
I don't want to talk about Skubal.
Let me talk about Skubal for a second. 12-4, 2.18 ERA. Let me clear my throat. 216 strikeouts. He has been a fantasy demon this year. I already know you're going to pull up.
No, I'm not picking him. I just need to pull up. what happened to him. Garrett Crochet in a little bit of an outing against the Guardians. Sorry. He had a 6 ERA for the game, which jumped his ERA almost a full point. He gave up, if I can find it, he gave up 7 runs, 4 bombs, only struck out 4. He absolutely killed himself in this race because I think he was a legitimate Cy Young winner if he literally just would have gone out here and thrown one run ball.
100%. He's like 14-5 on his record. Scroll up a little bit.
Oh yeah.
Okay. 14-5, 2.67 ERA, 218
strikeout is gross.
Yeah, I mean, so his stats are absolutely comparable to Scooball. I saw that outing against the Guardians. It massacred his chances at a AL Cy Young nod. But I do think body of work, Terry Scooball, he deserves it. Yeah. All right.
Oh, it didn't save my hot. All right, I'll say it anyway. It didn't
save
it.
It didn't save it. So we apologize for the graphic. Again, episode 3. I'm a little nervous going to this. Hot and not. Again, weekly segment. We're going to do it on a Wednesday episode. Michael, obviously, did not have a hot, but he had a big knot. It's his test. Let me talk about my hot. You know what really gets me fired up? When I walk in after coaching, after work, my dad sitting in his recliner watching a good old television, Fox News, and I get to see a drone strike video of our great military taking 11 dangerous cartel members from the communist country of Venezuela. Turn me up. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, we do not endorse killing innocent people on this podcast. These people kill people for a living. They deal drugs, illicit drugs, fentanyl, things people should not be consuming in their bodies. Designating them as a terrorist organization. And then, don't get me wrong. And really, why I said drone strikes is because it was the video that got me fired up. There is nothing that gets me as a red-blooded American male more fired up than a black and white video with a little crosshair, and all of a sudden something just explodes, and that just gets me juiced.
Oh, we had a high school teacher who would show us drone strike videos in class just because he was like, "Oh, you see this? It's kind of funny. They blow up a goat." I mean, it gets you going. I completely
gets you
agree
going
with that.
My knot is a very solemn and serious knot. The Kentucky stunt team has a member named Lakin Snelling. Yeah, I'm going to call you out by name for the whole 6 people that listen on this podcast. She was arrested after allegedly, and it doesn't seem very alleged, hiding a dead newborn in her closet in a trash bag.
Wow.
Yeah, that's my knot. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. It wasn't really like a funny knot this week. That is I mean,
it killed.
Dude, when I read that on like Tuesday morning, I was like, what the hell is wrong with people? And I felt like that sometimes you need a little small media attention because that person's going to hell 100%. And I think that reflects poorly on the Kentucky stunt team. All right. The values and the morals of this program.
Especially the leadership.
Leadership. This is obviously a culture issue at UK, and it reflects on their football team. So
that's why they're covering.
This isn't a solemn podcast. Are you kidding me? They're not going to cover because of the Kentucky stunt team. Luke, it doesn't read it on the slides here. Give me your hot. And that just makes it, in my opinion, 10 times more enticing about what you're going to tell me was hot this week.
My hot. See, I was with 2 things. Both are affiliated with Barstool Media Company. Gruden.
Gruden.
He's back.
He's so back.
Breakdowns. I don't know about you. I don't know another man that gets me fired up more than John Gruden. Oh,
Luke, would you say Fired up. I don't feel like is the word.
You might be right. I mean, but that man.
Oh, we gotta pull this up.
It gets me more than a John Gruden football break. That man has so much knowledge. Like, I think we know Maul pretty well. And then we
Decent.
go watch him break down football game, and it's like, holy crap. NFL
I mean,
level-
feeling nicely.
I mean, that man should still be coaching in the NFL. And
I saw his name tossed around as a DeBoer replacement at Bama.
I saw him for a Pittman replacement in Arkansas.
Dude, ooh, he would be good in Fayetteville. He is a kind of guy. He's a Fayetteville kind of guy through and through. I would love to see John Gruden at Fayetteville, even more in Tuscaloosa.
Yeah.
Actually, no. I think I would like to see him a little bit more in Fayetteville.
I think he suits well because you can't just go straight for the helm.
No.
You have to go to, obviously, a lower SEC school in Arkansas.
I agree with that statement. They are a bottom tier SEC school, Sam Wilson. Talk to me about your not.
Now, Kramer Valdez. Now, this was very interesting. I had a different knot in mind, and I was like scrolling on TikTok as soon as I got home from work today, and I was like, holy crap, did this just happen? Kramer Valdez pitching against the Yankees. The pitch clock is running low. The catcher is like putting his hands up and going, don't throw it, don't throw it. Like, step off, take your time. He throws it. A bomb is hit off him. Fraber is pissed. He is not happy at all. He, I think, is basically saying, you messed me up. You messed up my pitch timing. Very next pitch. He calls something. He might have called off speed. I don't know what he called. He throws fastball, domes him right in the chest. But he's setting up for low and inside. And he just freaking beams him in the chest. And you can tell the catcher like goes like this and like kind of looks at him. Dude, it's on. It was like 94, I think. It is, for me personally, if I'm that catcher, it's on site. I don't throw it everything down. We're going for a mound visit. It might get physical. I mean, that's unacceptable. You let up a bomb. You don't just beam your freaking battery, mate.
So, again, at this podcast, we're very big on culture issues. Houston, the Astros, trash cans. Now, this, we have a problem. Houston, we have a problem. And there is nothing more I like to see than the Astros having issues through and through. I feel like we got some time here. Do you want to kind of graze through and look at the MLB standings real quick? Kind of just want to talk a little MLB. We haven't touched much on baseball on this podcast, and simply because I think we're so juiced that football's back, we kind of forget other things exist. Now, don't get me wrong, and this will be absolutely mostly carried by me. I already sent them a text to get their ball knowledge up. When
College.
me and Luke, when we can talk for hours about the most random mid-major college basketball team, and trust me, y'all want to be here for this. We're going to give y'all some great insight on whatever the hell you want to watch on a Tuesday at 6 o'clock.
Mm-hmm. In a high school gym.
Dude.
In the middle of freaking Iowa.
Don't even get me started on, like, University of Texas, Rio Grande Valley, and what a wagon they were 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And LIU, the Sharks, the same Sharks we were dogging on in football. Well, you can't dog the boys from Long Island in basketball. They were a wagon last year. Hockey season is so close. And I am a big stick and puck guy. We are a Nashville Predators podcast with a little Oilers twang. Me and Mikey love the Edmonton Oilers. I would also consider them our first team at this point. Connor McDavid better resign. Anyway, National League wildcard race. We'll start with the wild cards. In our wildcard race, the Cubs 5 games up, Padres have just been hanging on to this like 1-2 game lead in this like that middle section of the wild card, that 3-team wild card. The Mets.
The Mets have turned it around a little bit because
A little bit.
It was very close between them and the Reds. Now, I think the Reds have also fallen off. They've lost a few games in a row, so that has also hurt them a lot. But there was a time where the Mets were losing a lot of freaking baseball games. They're very big. It was looking like 2 weeks ago they might not make the playoffs.
So I just wanted to graze over this, looking at the standings. Give me, and this is not saying it's going to happen, give me one team on the outside looking in that could get in this wild card playoff for you in the NL.
Man, I mean, the NL, I just don't think anyone I don't want to be bland, but the Giants have the most talent to do so.
I
don't
agree.
think the Reds are too young. I just don't think they have enough to get over that hump. But I don't really see anybody catching the Mets because since the Devers trades for the Giants, they have been awful. Like, they have been so bad since that Devers trade, and which is kind of weird because you're getting a very good bat and you didn't really give anything up, but apparently it worked. The Red Sox do something. So I don't see anybody really catching them, but if anyone, it would probably be the Giants.
So, and this is honestly no bias. This is scheduling wise.
Oh, yeah.
If the Mets lose and continue to lose the rest of this month, we have, like, I think roughly across the board 21, 22 games left. The Cardinals play the Giants not once but twice. They play
They end with
the
Cubs.
Reds and they end with the Cubs, who, sorry, Cubby fans, the Cardinals have notoriously dominated that series.
Especially late in the year.
Yes.
Especially when it matters. They have actually dominated that series.
I think they could kind of catch this Brewers team sleeping in one of these two series, especially at home. The Cardinals could realistically, I'm not going to say they're going to sneak in. They could definitely make it interesting down the stretch just due to scheduling. I do think most of our conversation has to pivot here to the AL,
Yes.
which has become quite the race. The team I think that gets in are the Tampa Bay Rays. 61 on the positive side, run differential, with Kansas City being -8. I think the only other team that has an argument in this race, I do not think it's the Mariners. Whether
No.
as good as a year as the Mariners have had, I think this is a race between the Rays and the Rangers.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm not too crazy for saying that, given their home ballpark and the ability to create offense in that home ballpark. I think the Rays are going to be able to get it done. I mean, Rays pitching has been unbelievable for years now. The Rays get to play the White Sox. They get to play the O's, who have been faltering, and they will be just done with their season at that point. They get to host the Blue Jays. They're hosting the Guardians tomorrow. They start that series tomorrow. And not to mention, they did, and let me make sure I'm right here. Yeah, we just swept the Mariners.
Yeah.
So Tampa Bay, hot. Could have been my hot. You know, if I wanted to be like, I knew I was going to make a Kentucky football joke with my not. Sorry, that's like I knew that going in. The Rays are on a 6-game winning streak.
Yeah.
Pay attention, ladies and gentlemen. They have a home series against the Guardians. If they go and sweep the Guardians, they are going to be your AL wildcard representative. What do you think?
See, I'm all in on the Rangers. I think they have the bats. They have finally looked like a coherent baseball team as of late. And now the only thing that does, because I think they're 6 of their last 6 wins of their last 10, but the only thing that worries me is the schedule. They got to play the Brewers, they got to play Houston, and the Houston twice, and then the Mets. That is the only real thing that worries me.
Yeah, I get that. But getting to end the year with the Guardians, Twins, and Marlins could give them that edge.
And another thing, though, that I think is going to really hurt them is the fact that Nathan Eovaldi is out for the year.
Yep.
I think that is really now. If they make the playoffs, do they win anything? Probably not, because I mean you have DeGrom, who's been very good this year, but you don't have Eovaldi, who was literally in the Cy Young race for most of this year, but he just got hurt too much. So I think that's going to be the one killer for the Rangers right now.
Fair enough. Looking at divisional races, The only, we'll say two we're talking about are the AL East and the NL West.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it goes chalk on both those. I think the Blue Jays are a hot enough team right now to hold off the Yankees. I mean, 3 games is not much. And I'm going to go ahead and say this. If any team catches the Blue Jays, I think it's the Red Sox with the way they're playing baseball lately.
I wholeheartedly agree because, I mean, you've got the youth, you've got the Boston two-man rolling up there.
Oh, dude, the Boston two-man.
I mean, they have, which is honestly very shocking after they freaking shipped Devers. It was kind of like, at least I'm obviously not a diehard Boston fan, but in my eyes, I'm like, oh, they're just going to maybe simmer with their young guys, rebuild for next year. No, they came out swinging, man.
No, 100%. The Dodgers have been extremely disappointing this year. This NL West race is starting to become a little interesting. Now, looking at the schedules. Ooh. So the Padres get to play the White Sox and the the Rockies this month.
And the Diamondbacks.
And the Diamondbacks. And the Reds. All 3 very winnable series. The Dodgers in their season with, again, improved ESPN app. You know how I think about that. This makes me even bring up our best bets from last episode. I hit on the Cubs beating the Braves, and I even hit on that underdog on Dana White Contender Series. If you were to tell me the Pirates would be up 2-0 in this series against LA,
it's absurd.
It's absurd.
We both hit our other 2 bets.
Yeah.
The the Pirates are out here just bending us over, man.
I mean, wake up, LA. I mean, dude, the Orioles and then the Rockies. But this down the stretch, I'm actually going to go ahead and call it right now on this podcast. The Padres will be the NL West winner. They have to go to San Francisco. They get Philly at home. They get the Giants. They got to go to Arizona, who's still in the race, and they got to go to Seattle. The Padres have a way easier path for only being down 2.5 games. I like the Padres taking the NL West, and I can't believe we're saying this. The second highest paid team in baseball, and they're not going to win their division. Neither team is going to win their division
for being
the highest paid teams. And I think that is the beautiful thing that the MLB can bring. As much as I hate not having a salary cap, it makes it so much more satisfying when teams like that don't dominate. And dude, if you're telling me October comes rolling around and we get to see the Yankees and the Dodgers fight for their lives in a wild card series, turn me up.
I mean, honestly, the MLB playoffs are one of the best things because, like, obviously, if the Cardinals are playing well, I'll watch most of their games, but I ain't gonna watch them all. The MLB playoffs, I'm putting whatever's on.
Oh, 100%.
The atmosphere
is unreal.
I mean, it's absurd. But back to the Padres. I think Mike Schill is a great manager.
100%.
Cardinals never should let him go. Still crap about that. Anyways, I do think down the stretch, because I was originally going to say that, but you stole my thunder, Will.
Sorry.
But I think that the Padres will end up closing out. This will be the year where the Padres finally get that divisional crown.
Fair enough. We are going to end our podcast with a little something I want to continue to do. The boys are about to look at the schedule, aka just me and Luke. We're going to pick one double-digit underdog that could win outright this year. And I'm about to toss in my phone just to make it easy on them because I'm pretty sure, or not this year, this week. I think I have my pick. And give me Georgia State at home against Memphis.
Serious?
And here's the thing. TJ Finley is now a Georgia State Panther.
Oh, I know. I'm
very interested to see if he plays this week. Memphis, it's just such a weird.
That's
Again, shout out ESPN app. Actually, I'm gonna go out and say this right now. Sorry for the Memphis State guys. Oh my lord! The Ole Miss line just dropped to 9.5.
Oh,
Oh wow.
oh,
Okay. I'm gonna go with James Madison over Louisville on a Friday night. I think JMU enters the G5 playoff content. Could. I'm not gonna say this happened, but we're gonna pick a double-digit underdog. I think JMU could enter the playoff conversation after this week on the road in Louisville.
you know, th- th- see this game, and I obviously do not really think it's going to happen. But it makes you wonder. Army last week lost to a good FCS team. Kansas State has looked god awful.
Oh, dude, this game, which at the beginning of the season was a pretty highly anticipated matchup. I want to know what the health status of Army's quarterback.
So,
Yeah,
but let's see if I can.
let's see if we can pull it up.
He's probable. I got it right here. He's probable.
I think that makes a difference.
So I mean, because they were looking good against Tarleton until they got.
Until that moment, yep.
So and Kansas State's a dumpster fire. Army's my pick. We're going.
I like it.
Army
I like it.
to beat Kansas State.
So,
at the-
you want to lay a fat money line bet. Parlay James Madison and Army. See what that pays out. This has been Will Spain, Luke Wallman on a beautiful Wednesday night here in Memphis, Tennessee. Signing off until next time. This has been Swiss Army Sports.